Hi, Flosstubers, Diane again. This is take 2. I had a... Let's just say you guys fell, and yeah. So let's start over. It's okay. It's okay. It won't be a long video. Today is March 21st. March 21st. It feels like March 21st. It's May 21st, 2020. Feels like we've been in this quarantine thing far too long. And our governor isn't helping issues, and I will just drop it right there. But, let's see. What have I been doing? We put some tomatoes in containers for a garden because the weather is actually getting warm. Yesterday was gorgeous. Yesterday was absolutely amazing. Today, it wasn't too bad. It was more cloudy than anything. I also took my middle daughter out to learn to drive. Yeah. She'll be child number 7 I've taught to drive. I keep telling my husband, you should do this. And he's like, no, they don't want me to teach them. But I'll take her again, not tomorrow because my husband needs a car, but probably next week. And one of my sons had a driving test scheduled next week, but because of the bureaucracy in Minnesota, that's postponed again. That's just, which is ridiculous. If they can predict how many kindergartners are going to be in a class in a certain year, they can predict how many of those kindergartners will be of driving age and plan for it. But anyway, another thing I've been doing, Erin from Steel City Stitchers showed how to coffee tea dye. She did a tutorial. I know there are other tutorials, but hers was the first one I actually watched. And I did it. I thought, I have some pieces of fabric. I really don't know what to do with them. Maybe if I coffee tea dye them, it'll inspire me. So this one is a 16 count. And this one's also a 16 count. One of these was white and one was like a cream initially, but they were dyed at the same time. So those I think will make cute kind of antique type of ornaments. I don't usually stitch on Ada anymore. I do for my Hades, but which I haven't stitched on in a couple years. But I thought kind of an antique ornament, cushion, pillow kind of thing. That would work. Just moving stuff around here. This piece was originally Twilight Blue, and I like how it turned out. And what I liked about Erin's videos when she said, I have this tea and I'm not going to use it, and I thought, I have a whole cupboard full of tea I'm not going to drink. I mean, I like to drink tea, but there were certain flavors somebody bought it and I didn't like it. This was white, 32 count. I like the line through the middle. I don't know what to stitch on there. This one again was Twilight Blue again, because I did a lot of lavender and laces, and that was the fabric she used. Well, I'm thinking I might re-dye this one. Because it was the first time, I kind of left this in there less time than other pieces, because I wasn't sure. I didn't want it too dark, and so I just keep playing and practicing. This is my favorite one of this batch. This was also Twilight Blue. I think it turned out so cute. And I think this particular size would fit a Mira. Not like Villa Mirabilia, because that one takes like a half yard. Or fat half, or whatever they call it. But this might. Kind of cool. So that was a really nice tutorial. I'll try and link it below. If I forget, just gently remind me. My only haul, my fabric of the month from Fiberlicious, 32 count. A Beautiful Day to Be Alive. It's this green. Green is my favorite color. It's not emerald and it's not really bright green. It's kind of green veins up there. It's more of a like a leafy green, a rich leafy green color. I don't know what I'm going to stitch on it, but I like it. And then I'll talk about my other haul. I don't think I've shown this one. I really don't think I have. Queen Mermaid, Mirabilia. She is stitched on 32 count Opal, Moonlit Waters, Under the Sea Fabrics. And here she is. So I started up in her hair. I don't remember how many colors I have in her hair. Her hair has a lot of different colors in it, which is not too unusual for Amira. I think I have 3 or 4 colors in here right now. But then her shoulder comes up here, and I was so tempted to do skin 1/1. I'm going to just do 2/2, I think. I don't know. I keep going back and forth. But it's beautiful fabric, and there are kind of streaks in it. So she's kind of looking up at the light, was the idea when I saw that piece of fabric. I bought the fabric in San Antonio when I was there for a retreat. 2018. Okay. The piece that I pulled out yesterday and worked on is, let me clip this real quick. It's by Rosewood Manor, and it is baskets. I'm using the Valdani, and I'm using the called for color of fabric, but she calls for 28 count using all 3 strands of Valdani. No. I'm using 36 count in 1 strand of Valdani at a time. Much better for me. I know some people love the 3 strands and all that, but I had a hard time with it. I don't know what trick I was not doing, but here's where I'm at. So page 1 completely done, and this motif bled into the motif below, or excuse me, the page below, so I just finished off the motif. And I have page 2 completely done, and this motif bled into, so this is page 2, 5, 6, and 3. So I'm working on page 3, and this motif will get finished. And then there's like 4 or 5 other little motifs, and then there's a couple motifs that blend or bleed into the next page. So I want to finish those, and then I might put this away. I might continue stitching on it. I don't know. So have the top 3 pages completely done would be nice. I am using this thread holder thing that I got off Amazon. So handy, so worth it. When I pull out Sunset by Rosewood Manor, I'm going to definitely be using this. Not sure when I'm going to pull that out, but when I do, definitely going to be using this. So, for Mother's Day, 2 of my boys bought me flowers. My oldest daughter sent me flowers. And one of my boys gave me, you know, I like these. And even though it says share on it, and another one of my sons gave me a new purse from Coach. Let me clarify, I would not pay this much for a purse, but he works there, so he gets a discount. And I've been using it. I really like it. So now I have 2 Coach purses and 1 Coach wallet. It's just because my son works there. But, okay, this is my I Blame Deb from Country Stitchers segment. She shows patterns and finishes. I was like, okay, that goes on the wish list, and a number of them come home. That's why I have Buckleberry sampler. It's ready to start. I haven't started it, but it is ready to start. And that one, and there was another one, samplerish, that she showed. Well, she also showed the Historic Countries sampler on her wall when she kind of walked down her hallway. And she said that it was in the Gift of Stitching magazine. And I had heard the name, and I knew a little bit about it. It stopped being published in 2012. If I would have known about this magazine, I think it was 2006 to 2012. If I would have known about this magazine, I would have been a subscriber. No doubt. But I just didn't know about it. And I didn't know about Flosstube. I don't know if Flosstube even existed then. If it did, I did not know about it. Maybe it was really, really early. Because I started in 2014, doing videos in 2014. And I know Jessie Marie, who was one of the Flosstubers I watched, has done, I think 2 years prior to that, kind of a Flosstube, booktube thing. So it could have been started, but I didn't know about this magazine. There is a Facebook group now called the Historic Countries Sampler Group. I will link it below. And when I say I will link it below, please give me a little bit of time. Sometimes it's hard to get computer time, especially with everybody at home right now. And I can't add those links from my phone. I can upload this from my phone, but I can't add the links. It's just the way it is. I have an older phone and just the way the technology is. But that being said, I will link the group. The editor and owner of that magazine is part of the group. Her name is Kirsten Edwards, and she's part of the group, and she graciously made her magazine available. She used to have an Etsy shop where you can buy the issues, but now she has made them available again. And so for Mother's Day for my husband, I said, I want this. She's made one package where you get, I can't remember if it's 12 or 13 issues, because the sampler that was shown by Deb was a mystery sampler, so you got a little bit each month. And sorry, a message just flew up on my phone. Close it out. Anyway, you can get that package, and she made it available for a certain price, or you can get all 72 of her magazines for a price. And I asked my husband, and one of these things I'm going to do this month, well, soon, is get these stupid glasses going. Just breathe, Diane. Between that and a haircut, just to feel, I don't feel normal. I want to feel normal again, whatever that is. But I asked for all the magazines, and that's what I received because it was a decent price. I mean, it was under $1.50 a magazine. And the magazines, the issues run anywhere from like 36 pages to 59 pages. I mean, she did a Christmas ornament issue for like 3 or 4 years in a row. If you put hers next to a other popular one that many of us purchase, myself included, hers would win. In my opinion, hers would win. She made it great. She graciously made it available. I will ask her if I can give that information in my description box below. Say I talked about it on Flosstube. Can I put it in the description box for people to buy it from you? She only takes PayPal. Don't bug her about anything else. It's only digital. So you can print it off. You can read it from some kind of device. So she sends you a link. You have 7 days to download. And that's what I did, is I downloaded it to her computer, and then we also have an external hard drive, so it's in multiple places. And I've been going through the magazine. I have a whole list. It's up there somewhere. You know, this issue I want to copy, this pattern, this pattern, this pattern. Oh my word, this is absolutely amazing magazine. Her magazine puts others to shame. It really, really did. And this was one of the designs. Saw this design, it grabbed me. I said, I have to stitch this. So I called Stitch Fill and I ordered the fabric, I ordered needles because I needed needles, and the floss. The floss is Gloriana Silk. Love Gloriana Silk. There are only 3 colors in this design, and each color is used with 4 different stitches. The basic cross stitch, back stitch, 4-sided stitch, and Algerian eyelets. And so far I've only used the full cross, the back stitch, and the 4-sided. I haven't gotten to a motif with the Algerian eyelets yet. I like Algerian eyelets. They don't bug me. But this is just an absolutely beautiful design. I had ordered 2 skeins of each color of Gloriana, so it's not cheap. But I just put it on a 36 count antique white Edinburgh linen. And it is called Double Dutch Sampler. And here's where I'm at. I have page 1, 2, and 3. Well, there's this little smidge of blue here, but I'm calling it 1, 2, 3. Again, it bleeds a little bit into the pages below, but this is gorgeous. And this is going to be a black and white copy because I do not have a color printer. But when I checked yesterday, this pattern was available, you kind of made available by the designer, Sampler Cove Designs. And you can get through 1, 2, 3 stitch. So you can look at the 1, 2, 3 stitch website for the Double Dutch Sampler by Sampler Cove Designs. And this gives you a taste of what it looks like. Again, I just don't have a color printer. But isn't that gorgeous? So I have like a third of it done down to there. And it stitches up so nice. I love the stylized alphabet. So this is the A through H. There's no J, but many traditional samplers didn't have a J because you would confuse the letter I with the letter J depending on the font. Same thing with the U and the V, depending on the font, and there's no Q. But I think this is just beautiful. Just beautiful. I'm gonna take it off of this. So I'll show it a little closer. This is just, it's stunning. And I love stitching with Gloriana. My wallet doesn't, but I like it. And the border, like the zigzag, that part is not stitched. So it's only 3 colors, the whole design. I mean, it looks full coverage, but it's not. But it's beautiful. It's one of those you kind of figure out the pattern and you just go with it. And so you have like the gold letters are outlined with red, the red letters are outlined with blue, and the blue letters are outlined with gold. And so it's true all the way through. So I think this is just, it's gorgeous. So I'm thinking when I get that 3rd page done on baskets, I'll probably go back to this one and do, I don't know, I could end up doing page 4, 5, and 6 and then kind of switch between them because it's got my attention. I might as well go with it. So I have this whole section done. This is the kind of the cover picture, even of the design that you could buy separately. So I'd get into these motifs here, and I haven't, I mean, the border is really nice, so I kind of go border motif, because I went border alphabet back and forth. So that's what I'm planning on doing. But this is just, it's beautiful. And there are eyelets in this motif and like 3 or 4 motifs over here. So they're not in every single motif. And page, if I'm reading this right, page 8, 7, 8, and 9 are a little smaller than 4, 5, 6. That could be wrong. That could just be how her little diagram is shown. So you have 12 different symbols, but there's only the 3 colors, and it tells you, okay, this is what you use full cross. This you use backstitch, this you use 4-sided, this you use the Algerian eyelets. So there's different symbols for which stitch and which color, and yes, it is fully readable. It is very readable. Like this is, one is a solid black line, one looks, it's a black line with dots on it, and then the other is like little segments, looks like little straws, and that's the gold, if I remember right. Yeah. So those are very clear. The symbols are very clear for the full crosses. These might get a little, again, I haven't ran into the Algerian eyelet, but the four-sided stitch, that's easy because you have a thick line, a thin line, and then this one here is a totally different symbol, but that's where you put the four-sided stitch. And where they end up in the pattern, it makes perfect sense. It's just, it's gorgeous. It is absolutely beautiful. And since I'm only using one strand over 2 threads, like on this motif here, I can go from the full cross to the four-sided stitch to, there's a little bit of back stitching, and same strand. I don't have to worry about 2 strand, 1 strand. It's all 1 strand, and that's how the original was all 1 strand. If you wanted to do this, it'd be easy to do this in DMC. The red would be close to 902. The antique gold dark would be close to 780, and the blue would be close, excuse me, to 820. But again, you could change the colors, but it's just beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. And so this designer, Sampler Cove Designs, that I've never heard of, I've been looking at her other designs, so my wish list has grown. But in that magazine, I think it's worth the investment. Long Dock samplers, praiseworthy stitches, Rosewood Manor, chatelaine, ink circles. I'm trying to remember, kind of the designers around 2006 to 2012. It tends to be a little more traditional toward prim, but not necessarily prim. But they also have some beautiful black work columns in there. The photography is fabulous. I'm trying to figure out how I want to... I know at some point I'm going to want to coil bind some of the patterns. Trying to figure out how to do that. And there were 2 that were ink circle covers that I know are now available as individual patterns. And so I printed those off and gave those to my daughter. I have no intention on stitching them. They're beautiful designs. And she's been stitching on her ink circles. She's been working on Reflections of Paris and Reflections of Cairo. So that's what she's been working on. And we haven't gone to the store to find DMC for her Haid yet. She has some of it, but not all of it. So we're still working on kitting that up. But that's really all I have. My intention is to finish page 3 on baskets. And I might reward myself with a new start. Miss Mania. I might. I have a number of things kitted. New starts haven't been calling to me. And honestly, I think part of it is all this stuff that's going on in the world. But that is what it is, and it will get better, hopefully sooner than later. But husband's still been able to work at home. He's still healthy. He's still been able to get his medication. I made him a couple masks to take to the center. He has to have the mask on while he's getting his infusion. And there was another thing he had to do. He's going to need his mask. I don't remember. Something work related. But, yeah, we're healthy. We're doing well. Doing the next thing. Doing a lot of homeschool planning for next year. I will be entering my 24th year of homeschooling. No, I'm sorry, my 23rd year of homeschooling. So, yeah, I've been doing homeschooling a long time. And it's a lot of work, but personally, for our family, it's definitely worth it. But I hope this finds you well. Thank you for watching my videos, subscribing, hanging out with me. I've been enjoying the videos. I'm going to link some people below. Some you've heard before, some you may not have heard before. Take a look if you're interested. I will try and link everything I've talked about as much as I possibly can. And Stitchville right now is allowing some customers into the store under very strict regulation stuff, but they're still doing curbside and they're still mailing. Their website is not a catalog per se. I mean, keeping up with that would, oh my word, it'd take 5 people to do that. But you can call and ask. They have so many different threads, Glorianas, water lilies. you just about name it. Now, Gentle Arts is hard to find by everybody at the moment. Hopefully that won't be much longer. They have a whole variety of fabrics. They will tell you, hey, we have this in stock, or you can ask them. You can also email, put the email below. So that's another source if you're looking for a source for needlework stuff. But aside from that, I hope it finds you well, and probably talk to you again in a couple weeks. Love to y'all.